Welcome into the DFS Den. It's Dave Eddy here, aka Corporal Eddie on Twitter, and let's talk about running backs. Now, in cash games, it's pretty much the same as every other position for me. I am looking simply for the best plays. I'm not worried about ownership percentage. I'm not worried about all that kind of stuff. I'm looking for the best plays. And when we're looking at the best plays, really it comes down to my mantra for running backs, which is volume over matchup. I would much rather have a running back that I think is going to get a ton of touches against a tough defense than trying to pick a guy out of a shared backfield who's got a really easy matchup. So for cash games, it kind of gets as simple as that for me. When we're talking MME, obviously things are going to get a little bit different. So we need to be a little bit more unique, but I try not to typically get too crazy at the running back position. I try to get unique with my pass catchers and even with my quarterback. So it's not usually so much at running back. Now, for me, a running back, I'm looking at a 6-game sample size. I think that that's where it becomes ideal. 5 games is fine, but 6 is where it becomes ideal. So when I'm looking at stats, it's not really till week 7 that I can really hone in and say, okay, these are solid numbers. Once I get past, the 7th week, I'm just simply going back to the previous 6. It's just 6-game sample size is what I'm looking at. And like I said, volume is key. Same thing goes for MME. Volume over matchup. I would say that all the time when it comes to running back. Give me a guy that's going to get me a lot of touches. I don't care what the defense is. I mean, obviously I care, but I'm more worried about the volume that he's going to receive. Now, typically for me, especially in cash, but MME, small field, large field as well, typically my RB1 is my most expensive player. Usually that averages out to around $8,500. Now, again, not a hard and fast rule on the salary amount. Just depends on that particular week, but that's usually where it averages over the course of the year. Now, typically your running back 2 is less expensive than your quarterback and your wide receiver 1. Now, again, not a hard and fast rule, just kind of a general guideline to think about. And running back in the flex in cash, absolutely fine. I usually gravitate towards a running back in the flex in cash. Doesn't mean I'm going to force it by any stretch of the imagination, but if given the option between 2 equal players, I'm going to take the running back. In MME, I'm going to take the wide receiver in the flex. But, you can definitely play a running back in the flex in smaller, large field MME. I much prefer a wide receiver because you normally are going to be using that spot to gain leverage, to be a little bit contrarian. But I mean, it's doable. It just depends on the week and it depends on the player and, it depends on the entirety of the roster in a whole. Now, when I'm looking at the running back stats, what I'm ignoring is something like TD rate or yards per carry. Those are things that mean nothing to me when I'm looking at, when I'm looking at running backs. So, I'm looking again at volume metrics. How many carries are they getting? What is their snap percentage? What's their target share percentage? Are they getting, passes out of the backfield? It's that kind of stuff. Volume is what I'm looking for. And then I do want to also point out that something that, and this is a reason why, again, I usually shy away from, getting too crazy at running back, is it's very, very rare that a cheap, super contrarian RB2 is rostered on a winning tournament lineup. It's just, they're so easy to predict compared to the other positions that, ownership percentage is pretty solid. So it's going to be a contrarian wide receiver that, could have the difference making game. It's very rarely, very, very, very rarely going to be a running back. So another reason why, again, I try not to get too crazy at the running back position. And outside of cash, I'm not really looking for a running back in the flex. If it works, it works, but I'm not looking for that. Now, if you haven't done so already, go ahead, pop on over here, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you turn on notifications so you get an alert every single time a new video comes out. Always great stuff available coming out from Fantasy Six Pack. And then like this video if you haven't done so, or if you've been enjoying the rest of these strategy videos. I'll see you next time.